So I would like to welcome you to Engineers Without Borders Femgineering celebration of International Women in Engineering Day 2020. My name is Heidi Michael. I'm head of the community program at Engineers Without Borders.
I'm unmuted?
Yes, you are now.
Yeah, I've lost my question when I was switched over. The questions popped up, Tony, the new ones from recent. As Elizabeth well knows, I've been a champion for more women in engineering for a bloody long time. Goes way back, Elizabeth, doesn't it? And just by the way, I am an honorary woman. The Women in Engineering Committee in the late 90s conferred that after remember the CREW project, Elizabeth, that we did? And Dulcie, I have to say, I love the fact that you bring emotion into your work. That's lovely. I've been told often not to get emotional about engineering. The question, you can probably see it, I've lost it, so I can't, but it's about the philosophy behind engineering. And my question is, I've not been able to find a philosophy of engineering anywhere. I mean, I think I've got a philosophy of environmental engineering, but not of engineering per se. And I think that that's the problem. We are selling the wrong product to women. Engineers Australia has spent a fortune sort of promoting and advertising to get more women. And I argue that the product is wrong. And then the old fart engineers on and our committees and so on say, oh, David, you can't change engineering. Engineering is just engineering. Well, I think it's more than that. And the fact that we don't have such caring for nature and building proper society things, they're not taught. I teach it now through UQ and Southern Cross, University of Southern Cross, and at QUT when I was there. But they're missing in our education. And I'd like your comments on that. How do we change the product?
No, I might direct that one to Amy straight up, because I think, you know, you're looking at engineering, possibly you're starting to change the philosophy from your generation and your graduate cohort. What do you think perhaps the product should be there in relation to David's question?
Yeah, of course. Really good question, David. Very, very good question. I think as a student, you're right. There is a lot of the subjects and courses that don't really target or redefined engineering. It's been set as is for such a long time. Like, I know that UQ only just introduced a humanitarian engineering course, and like, how long did that take for us to get to where we are now, you know? But I hope that, you know, with the voices that we are, and with luck, that there are enough people or lecturers, and introducing new lecturers or tutors, whatever it is, into schools with new ideas that can redefine engineering and shape and reshape our courses in a way that we have a different perspective into engineering. Like, I know that the courses we do now, it's so different in comparison to when we go and have our VAC work, or when we do our experiences. The technicalities don't really translate too much with it. And I find that really lacking. So I hope if we can bring that into our courses and bring that forward, hopefully we can delve a certain way and have new ideas towards it. Yeah.
Good. Louise, I'd like to hear your perspective on this, particularly dealing with men in your company.
David, I mean, I think it's a fabulous question, and I think you're spot on. I could talk about this forever and get really philosophical about it. I think that I use the term that it is the age of the engineer. When you look at the complexity of the issues that are facing the world, you know, be it climate change, be it the pandemic we are still experiencing. You look at food and energy and water security, congestion, all of these extremely complex issues, and we do have a brand problem, I feel, in Australia with engineering. We don't have enough kids wanting to be engineers, full stop. And then you add on to that the fact that we are missing 50% of the population in amongst there. It's only, you know, it just adds to the more broader problem. And I loved the way that Dolce talked about her experience in engineering, because this is the opportunity that engineers have. The science is there with these problems. So we have the data, we are looking for the solutions, and the ability for us to rebrand engineering and the impact that engineers have on making a better world for the future of humanity. This, I think, particularly plays into that space of nurturing and caring and providing for future generations, which is, you know, that is a mindset that a lot of, that is very dear to a lot of women in particular. So I think you're spot on. It needs a rebranding, it needs a refresh, and we just need to go about selling it in a different way. And I think post-COVID, with the challenge that the world is going to face in the next 10 years, is a great opportunity to do that. And I would also say that what COVID has shown us is engineers, for the most part, have had to stay gainfully employed through this pandemic, because what we do is essential, and that should bring a lot of pride and a lot of and a lot of purpose to what we do as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, David. And sorry, Elizabeth, the next question links very well, so I'm going to go straight to you. But thank you, David. We are running on limited time, and thanks for joining us on the panel. And we've now got Julie Martin, who's joining us to ask a question, and Elizabeth, a link. I think it links, so you'll be first up. Thanks, Julie.
Look, it's a very adjacent question. Hello, everyone. So it really is similar. Interested in the panel's views on how we educate our community and our young people on the vast array of engineering career paths out there, and that it's not simply a high-vis and hard hat future. Having said that, I work for CIMIC Group in a hard hat and high-vis company, but there's a lot more out there. And I guess I'll add to that now, given the previous question and the commentary. What's Engineers Australia's role in and accountability in helping this rebranding process?
Ooh. Elizabeth, would you like to jump
in? Well, I was just going to challenge it a little bit, because in the 90s I wrote papers about trying to set up an idea that we should have a technoprudence idea of sort of self-reflection that they have in, say, law as with jurisprudence. That idea that you set up a forum for thinking about yourself and who you are and what your purpose is. Of course, it didn't get any legs in the 90s, because we all knew who we were. But I would challenge, and it is something I am quite passionate about, and I do talk about a lot in the forums I'm in, is until we confront our past, and the way I put it in an international forum the other day is, we are celebrating the fact that we are going to be needed in the future. And the reason we're needed in the future is because we created what we've got now. So all of the issues that we are talking about using up resources, about et cetera, we do need to take ownership for that as well. Because if we don't, we're never going to challenge the characteristics that we were just talking about. We'll just build a different, bigger, faster, louder thing to try and clean up the bigger, louder thing that we created in the first place that's causing the issues. So it is more fundamental than just a rebranding. It is a total understanding of how we are going to approach any issues so that we do have that care and functioning in it. I've just started a new role. Julie, you'll note this one. There's a new CRC in Smartcrete, how we're going to reuse concrete into the future. And so struggling with what questions do you ask about the second most used materials by engineers is concrete, and one of the worst for the environment. So I feel right in the middle of being that whole tension about how do you reimagine what we can do in engineering that's not going to be assuming there's another silver bullet out there like we used to, but whatever solution is going to be a complex, nuanced systems decision-making process that we haven't educated ourselves for or we haven't understood needs to be part of that exploration, that sort of technoprudence of constantly reimagining how we might be as